All right, everybody. Welcome to today's session to help you customize your categories with YNAB. I'm Teacher Maria here, one of our YNAB teachers, so super excited and stoked to be joining you from beautiful yet pretty rainy Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I would love to know where you are logging in from today on YouTube. So please feel free to type right on over in the chat box. We've got Teacher Ernie, and I also see one of our educators and great friends here in Budget Nerds, Ben, in the house. So please feel free to type right on over in the chat box where you are. We love getting to know our YNAB community. We see Carl in rainy Detroit as well. We see Phoenix, Arizona, Bellingham. Welcome. This is going to be a really fun session because one of the funnest parts about using YNAB is customizing your categories. We've got rainy Milwaukee in the house. Planet Earth. Well, everyone does need to YNAB nowadays. So if you're on planet Earth, it's a great opportunity to start YNABing. Let's see here. We got Brianna from Alabama. We got Ontario. Got another Canadian in the house. Welcome. Rancho Cucamonga. Oh, that's a fantastic name to say. That's a fun one. Edmonton, welcome. Australia. Wow, awesome. I love seeing our international YNABers join us. Greetings from Chicago, Massachusetts. Lovely. Welcome to all of you. We are so grateful and excited to have you all here. So once again, for those of you who are logging in, my name is Teacher Maria. I hope that everyone can see me and hear me okay. Today's session is going to be about customizing your categories with YNAB, and I think it's one of the funnest parts about YNABing. So let's get started right away. If you do have any questions throughout this demo, I will be pausing throughout to answer them, but Teacher Ernie's in the house as well. So please feel free to send those questions right on over in the chat, and we're both going to do our best to get those questions answered for you today. So let's get started. Now, why do you want to customize your categories? Now, categories in YNAB reflect your priorities and what's important in your life. Now, YNAB is all about aligning your money with your priorities. Unlike what a lot of people might think, using YNAB is not about depriving yourself. It's about loving how you spend your money. And it's also about loving how you save it, celebrating how you save your money as well. Now, having those different category structures is really going to help you see your priorities in a different way. So I'm going to go on ahead here and move on into our demo portion right on over here. I will just turn off my camera just for now so that I can go right into the slides here. I think it's a little bit distracting when you don't see me during the default here. Okay, everybody, perfect. Awesome. So we are in the default setting here. Let's talk about categories here. YNABing, as I mentioned, is all about aligning your money with your priorities. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about loving how you spend your money and celebrating how you save it. Now, having those different category structures really helps you see your priorities in a different way. It gives you the visibility and the clarity you need to have that peace of mind you're looking for with your money. And that's because as you YNAB, your categories will help guide your spending decisions. And that way, you're going to know where your money is going. So customizing your categories ultimately puts you in control because you're going to start deciding where and how you spend your money. Plus, of course, customizing your spending plan is one of the funnest parts of using YNAB. So today, you're going to learn a few different ways you can customize your plan and your categories on both the web and the mobile app so that your spending plan reflects your life. So right here, I'm in the default setting. As you can see here, we've got some big picture category groups. We've got one for those monthly bills, those fixed bills. one for some frequent spending like groceries, dining out, or transportation, one for those non monthly category groups, those Rule 2 expenses for those of you who are familiar with the YNAB method. We want to be planning ahead for the future you. We also have a big picture category group for some goals, long term savings goals, and one for some quality of life because every YNAB spending plan should have some fun injected into it. So next, with this default setting, if you're new to YNAB, you definitely want to customize your plan to reflect your life. And everyone's plan will look different. It's about knowing your priorities and your preferences. So we're going to organize YNAB to help you make those better spending decisions. And that's because ultimately you will be checking your YNAB spending plan before you spend. So how do we go about customizing this default? First, I'm going to show you how to make changes on the web app, and then I'm going to show you how easy it is to make those exact same changes on the mobile app. But as a general key tip, if you are new to YNAB and you're just getting started, keep things simple. You can always start with less categories. And then as you learn more about your spending habits, as you start tracking your expenses, then you can feel free to add more categories. So let's get started right on in here. Simple tip here. Let's start by adding our first category by adding a subscriptions category right here in this bills category group. Now, right next to the category group name, the blue circle there, that's where we're going to add a category. Clicking on it, I'm going to add a subscriptions category. Now, the subscriptions category is a great idea for any of those streaming devices. That way you don't have to have all of them laid out. You can if you want, but just having a generic category for them is a great way to get started. Now, some categories here I might want to edit or rename, like this housing category. I don't have both a rent and a mortgage. So to edit the existing category name in this default setting, I'm going to click on that name there and change it to mortgage. Perfect. Some categories in the default setting are categories that I actually won't need. For example, here in Vancouver, I don't have to pay for the water bill. It's already included in my property tax. So I'm going to get rid of this water category. I can do that two different ways. I can delete or hide this category. So by clicking on it, I can hide the category to send it to the bottom of my spending plan. Now, a tip for those of you who have been YNABing for a while, when you hide a category, make sure you take all the cash out of that category first. Now I'm going to unhide that category just by clicking on it again. If I would like to delete a category, I can click on it and delete it. Now, if you have already made a transaction in that category, you will have to recategorize those past transactions. Because this is a brand new spending plan, I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to go on ahead and delete that water category. Dragging and dropping categories. You might want to organize your categories in alphabetical order or perhaps by due date for your specific bills. For example, I might want to move this subscriptions category right down. No problem. Just click, drag, and drop. Next, let's add a category group to the spending plan right up here. Click on category group. Maybe I'd like to add a pets category group, and then I can add my subcategories for all of my pets related expenses, like pet food. I wish I had a pet, but I know that if you do, pets can be pricey, right? The vet bills, the food, the toys. Great ideas to have a pets category group. If you would like to edit any of the existing category groups in your spending plan, just click on the category group. Maybe I want to change this quality of life category group to fun money. There we go. Now, if you would like to collapse and uncollapse your category groups, if you want a big picture of view of your categories, you can click on Command Up or Command Down on your keyboard, and then you can do it really quickly if you want to have a YNAB dance party. Woohoo! All right. Next tip is a super common question that I get probably in all of my workshops. How do you add the emojis to your YNAB spending plan? Who here is Team Emoji actually? Why don't you put maybe an emoji in the chat if you are Team Emoji? Do you add emojis to your spending plan? Yes or no? Put a comment. Do you like emojis in your spending plan? If so, why don't you add your favorite emoji in the chat? Are you Team Emoji? Yes or no? I am curious about that. Steven says, yep, he put a little boat there. Ernie says, me. Brittany says, me, Team Emoji. You don't have to be. Ernie says they have to be in the front of the category name. Right. Ashley says, Team Emoji. Usually in my workshops, when I ask, it's about 50-50. You don't have to, of course. Remember, there's no police here. You can have your budget. Your budget can look however you want. Your spending plan is yours to have fun with. It's like a video game for your life. Steven says in front. Rager says sometimes, right? Some people like to have them just in the category groups or in all of your categories. So you can add emojis on both your web app or on your mobile app. On your computer, I'm on a MacBook, so I'm going to bring that emoji keyboard up, Control Command Spacebar. If you are on a PC, you're going to click on the Windows key period or the Windows key semicolon. The easiest way to do it is to swing on over to your mobile app. Then tap right up here. This icon right up here is your one-stop shop to edit your entire spending plan, okay? Now let's add an emoji right over here, groceries. I'm gonna add my favorite emoji, which is my favorite thing in the world, the avocado. For those of you who know me, I'm a big fan of avocados. And then tap on done. Now everything is synced in the cloud, so whatever changes you make on the mobile app will very quickly, within a few seconds, 30 seconds-ish, be synced on the web. So we are in the mobile app now. We are looking at the same YNAB spending plan that we were just looking at on the web app. So let's start making some changes here. We're going to make the same changes to customize our spending plan on mobile. So let's go back to that edit icon. We've added emojis. Let's add a category now. So let's swing on down to this non-monthly category group. To add a category on the mobile app, let's tap on this plus sign right here. Let's add a classic non-monthly expense. Annual car insurance. It's a classic one. Any insurance that you have to pay, home insurance, car insurance, is a non-monthly bill. So we're going to have that added right in there in that non-monthly Rule 2, Embrace Your True Expenses category group. Next, let's edit or rename an existing category. How about we change one of these, this education category? Let's change education to tuition. Tap on done. Good to go. How to delete or hide categories on mobile. There are actually a couple of different ways you can do it here. Let's start by hiding this hobbies one. Notice this little negative sign. Here's the first way. You can tap right there. We got our first option here. I can hide the category, send it to the bottom. I now have a hidden category section right here at the bottom of my spending plan. The other way, it's a little bit hidden, but it's a cool one. We can go to the category, so tap on the category, then tap on 3 dots for details, then scroll down. Then we've got the hide category. You can also rename it right here, but the delete category is right here. Tap on delete, then tap on done. And you'll see those categories hidden and deleted. Let's go back to the edit icon to customize our spending plan again. Dragging and dropping categories. let's head on back to that non-monthly. I like having my categories in alphabetical order. So this particularly right here, AHA, would bother me. So I'm going to long press these three lines here and move that auto maintenance right up. So my spending plan is in alphabetical order there. Nicely done. Next, let's add a category group. Tap on the envelope right up here. Okay. Now I'm going to add a new group name right up here. Let's think of an example. A home renovation could come with a lot of sub expenses. Let's tap on that and tap on done. Maybe we want to change a category group name. Let's tap on edit again. Tap on that and we can change that to another example could be kids. Classic category group name. To collapse and expand your category groups on mobile, tap on the three dots right up here and then tap on collapse and expand. And then you can do the same thing here to collapse and get a big picture view of all of your category groups on mobile. So far, we have customized a lot of the settings on the web app and the mobile app. Now I would like to swing back over here to the web app, and I would like to show you some really fun and different ways that you can organize your YNAB money plan. Remember, everybody, my favorite YNABers here, your categories should help guide your spending decisions, and ultimately they should reflect your life. So I've prepared some ideas for you here. Feel free to take some screenshots. These are really just ways to help inspire you. Let's get started with the needs versus wants template. Now, this is a really great starting point to know which categories are a higher priority in your life. It's also great if you just want to start super simple, or perhaps if you don't have too much cash right now to get started. We all know what that's like. Really simple structure, everybody. We're going to get started with three big picture category groups: needs, wants, and non-monthly. So our needs are where we're going to have all of those important bills like car payment, cell phone, internet, mortgage, anything that we need to pay for every single month. The wants category is going to have any categories that we want to spend money on, like dining out, fun money. We always want to have a fun money in our spending plan. And then we're going to have a non-monthly category group because this is part of the YNAB method. Rule 2, embrace your true expenses. These are the types of expenses that even out the financial roller coaster of the year. Another tip here, when you're just getting started, it's always great to have a stuff I forgot category for those unexpected and miscellaneous expenses. In fact, I still have this category in my spending plan today, even though I have been YNABing for many, many years. It helps. I mean, the other day I could think of an example. I had to get some shoes fixed at the cobbler, and I don't have a cobbler category in my spending plan, but it was just the right category for me to use for that type of expense. Now, as I mentioned, always great to have a fun money category somewhere in the plan because YNABing is not about depriving yourself. It's about loving how you spend your money. It's about having fun. It's like a video game for your life. Can you get a hands up or an emoji or a yes if you think that the needs versus wants template is a template that you could see yourself using? Why don't you put a hands up or a yes in the chat? Or if you have a question, please feel free to send it right on over. I'm going to swing on over to the chat to pause right here to see if there's any questions that I can help with right now. Barb says, pay the overlords is the name for rent. I like that category name. Rager says, I still have a stuff I forgot just in case every now and then I have something there. I'm just going to highlight that one. I still have a stuff I forgot just in case every now and then I have something to go there. That's a great one. And I did like this comment from Barb. Pay the overlords is my name for rent. That's a great one. That's a great category name. Let's see, here's some other comments. Rager also mentioned this about the emojis. I should put them in the middle just to annoy others. No, 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 no. I don't think I can handle that. That would be an eyesore for me. But of course, it's your spending plan. You can do what you want. All right, let's see. Okay, let's move on to our next spending plan here. The theme. Now, this is when you can group the different areas of your life to make sure that they are aligned with your spending goals, like housing, like transportation, like kids' expenses, like pets. Who knows what's more expensive nowadays, kids or pets, right? Frequent expenses. Now, this is great for people who want a clearer picture as to where their money is going. And remember, we always want to keep setting money aside for the future you, who is just as important and awesome as the present you. Think about all of those predictable and unpredictable future expenses that you have. And of course, you still want to make sure that you're planning ahead for fun in your spending plan. Now, I personally have never used the theme spending plan, but I have had workshop participants. And if I'm not mistaken, I think teacher Ernie had mentioned he'd used it, but I have had workshop participants say that they have used this spending plan and they have really, really liked it. So I'm going to swing on over to the comment section, see if anybody has any feedback or comments or questions on the theme spending plan. Let's see here. I like this one from Elizabeth. A treat yourself category. That's a great one. I really like that one. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to keep on going on through here into our next spending plan example. Let's go into the next one. The pin to the paycheck. In this spending plan, your category groups can be broken down by which paycheck will pay each bill or expense. In other words, each category. Planning ahead this way can really reduce stress and uncertainty. This category structure is great to help you get out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle if you're trying to get out of debt, or you can also use it if you are on a biweekly pay cycle. Now, here's a great question you can ask yourself when deciding which category will go under each category group. You ready? What must this money do before I get paid again? I'll say that again. What must this money do before I get paid again? Now, that's going to give you the clarity to know which categories are high priority. So, again, we've got paycheck one here, the categories that need to get paid by paycheck one, paycheck two. We've got a frequent category group, and scrolling down here, just like in any YNAB spending plan. Keep following rule two by setting aside some dollars, even if it's just a bit, every month for those future expenses. We still want to plan ahead for the future because when we're not planning ahead for these bills that pop up throughout the year and those unexpected emergencies, we either have to scramble to find cash to cover them, which is stressful, or we have to put those expenses on a credit card. So we can even call this category group future debt prevention. This is a really cool spending plan option. Just going to swing on over to the chat to make sure I'm not missing any comments or questions. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you the spending plan that I use in my personal life. All right. This is the spending plan that I use in my personal life. It's very similar to the default money plan. It lets you know what expenses are set in stone at the top in the fixed category group. So, of course, these are my fixed monthly bills. The amounts don't change, and they're usually always billed on the exact same day. Then I've got a flexi category group. Now, these are categories that I will be spending from every single month, like groceries or dining out or transportation, but the amount varies. It really does according to my use or my spending habits. I always have a non monthly category group because at the end of the day, these expenses are inevitable at some point. So I plan ahead for them. In my spending plan, I have a future life goals category group. Now, for those of you who have been YNABing for a while, you might have this in your spending plan and you might want to call it your wish farm. You want to be celebrating your dreams and aspirations too. You can put your short, medium, and long term savings goals in your YNAB money plan as well. You can also have a separate category group for quality of life. Now, this is where you can get really granular, have a lot of fun, separate out your fun money. Personally, in my spending plan at home, I have an entire category group called self care and one called glow up. So I have tons of categories in my spending plan at home. So I've got one just for hair, just for nails. I personally like getting really particular with my categories. I like knowing where I'm spending my money. And I have a self care one, which has all of my books and online courses that I take. But of course, everybody is different. Remember, your categories are really particular to you and they're going to be changing all the time. That's totally normal. Hands up with those of you who liked the fixed versus flexi. It's a cool option here. I particularly found that after using YNAB for quite some time, I landed on the fixed versus flexi, and it's the one that I have found works best for me. Naomi says, oh, hey, Naomi, welcome. I love seeing you in our workshops here. I use a needs versus wants in combination with category. I have the what must have money priorities with the focused views. Naomi, thank you for that segue because we are going to be talking about that right now. Love it. So, Naomi has set me up nicely here for the next thing we're going to be talking about. Dun, dun, dun. One of our coolest features. We very recently launched a really, really fun way for you to tinker and play and to customize your money plan even further with YNAB with focused views. With focused views, you can select which categories you want to see with the click of a button. So they're right up here at the top of the web app. And I'm going to show them to you one by one so you understand what these buttons mean. Let's start with the underfunded one. When I click on underfunded, notice how it narrows down my spending plan and it only shows me just a few of the categories. It shows me the categories that are underfunded, the yellow targets here. This way, you'll know exactly which categories still need cash in them based on the targets you have set in those categories. In other words, when you're about to follow rule one again, give every new dollar a job, by clicking on this underfunded feature right up here at the top, you're going to immediately know which categories are your top priority right now, and you won't have to scroll through your entire spending plan. Pretty cool. The other one is the overfunded. Now, this is a really fun tool to find hidden cash in your spending plan. You'll find which categories have more cash in them than you need based on the targets you have set for them. It's kind of like finding cash in the back of your jeans or at the bottom of your purse. Next is money available. Money available will show you which categories have money left in them in the available column. so that you know how much you have available to spend from each of your categories and how much you are saving in each of your non monthly categories or your savings categories. Finally, we've got these three little lines. These are the custom views. This is where you can really start playing around with YNAB and personalizing it to make it yours. So here's a great example. A common question that I get in my workshops is, how can I compare my income versus my expenses? So here's a really cool tip. You can create a custom view. Let's create one together here. New view. I'm going to click on continue here. You can create a custom view called monthly me, or perhaps you can call it spending. Then select any categories that you know you will actually be spending from every month. So maybe select your monthly bills and scroll through the spending plan here. Frequent spending. I'm going to select that gifts category for any unexpected gifts and all of these quality of life categories. Then roll on over to the last month that you have not assigned any dollars in your spending plan yet. Swing on up to this underfunded feature on the web app. Now, this is a really cool feature because it's going to show you exactly how much money you would need to fully fund all of these targets for that month. Now, what you can do is compare this number to your monthly income, and that's going to give you a cool idea, a great idea if your targets are realistic for your plan right now. So that can be your monthly spending. You can create another custom view called Future Me or Savings. And this can help give you an idea as to how much money you need to be setting aside each month for those Rule 2 expenses in your life. Let me see here. Let's go through these. I'm going to go on ahead and click some of these through here. I'm also going to put down some of those long-term savings goals. Now, we want to be planning ahead for those predictable and unpredictable life expenses and the savings goals for that future you. So now, once again, I can swing on over to underfunded, and this gives me an idea as to how much the future me would need. Another idea would be to set up a focused view with your partner if you happen to be YNABing with a partner. So maybe you are YNABing with a partner who only wants to see the categories that they are going to be spending from. They don't need to see the entire spending plan. You can create a partner view, put their name, and then select the categories that they want to see. So I'll just click 4 here. The next time they need to YNAB, they open up the app. Instead of seeing all of the categories, which could be a little bit overwhelming for somebody who perhaps is new to YNAB, or maybe they just want to see their categories, they're just going to tap or click on partner and see their categories. Then they're going to know how much they have available to spend out of their categories. So that's a pretty cool way to use the focused and custom views. Now you can play around with these custom views, like adding a custom view for your kids' expenses or your personal hobbies. In fact, I would love to hear from you, YNABers, for those of you who have been YNABing for a while, or if you haven't used the focused views, how do you use focused views? Why don't you type on over in the chat how you are using the focused views? And in the meantime, I'm going to swing on over to the mobile app to show you where you can find the focused views right on over here. Just going to swing on over to the focused views. Here we go. For the focused views on mobile, you're going to see them right up here, those 3 lines. This is where you're going to be able to see all of those focused views. And at any time, if you want to add a new one, new view, or to manage those views right there. While I'm on the mobile app, I'll show you one last cool trick that I think is really cool about mobile. Pinning categories to the top of your spending plan. So let's say that there is a category that you spend from really regularly. You can long press your category, which brings up a lot of options here, and then tap on pin category. That's going to send your most used categories right to the top of your spending plan. The other way you can do that is by tapping on your category, tapping on the three dots for details, and then tapping on that pin right there, tapping on done. Then you're going to see that right at the top in the pinned category group. Fantastic. I'll turn my camera back on here so I can see everybody for our question and answer part. Hi, everybody. I'm back here. I'd love to answer your questions and see how everybody's doing. Barb says, I have a focused view for my daughter's categories. I love that. That's a great one. Any other comments and questions I can help you with? I'm just going to scroll right on through here. Barb has a great one here as well. When I first started, I used Paycheck to Paycheck for your bi-weekly pay. And once I got more saved, you switched to a different one of our spending plans. Great one. If you have any questions that are YNAB related, anything about customizing your categories or getting set up with YNAB here, I'd be more than happy to help you. Okay. Well, I hope that this session has been helpful. As a quick overview, we have the needs versus wants spending plan, the theme spending plan, the paycheck, the fixed versus flexi. Those are some options for you to customize your spending plan. Shaz says, I have my categories set out like the buckets in Barefoot Investor. Great comment there. Thank you. And Teacher Ernie also made a great comment here that I'm going to just show here. If you're new to YNAB, you're looking for a refresher, I will be teaching 2 more sessions today, getting started. And we're also going to be talking about savings today. So I hope to see you there in our free workshops. We teachers here at YNAB love supporting you in your YNAB journey. Our support team here is also always here to support you, and definitely get involved with our community here on YouTube. With Ben, Ashley, Hannah, we are always here to teach you, to help you, and support you in your YNAB journey. Awesome. Well, I don't see any other questions coming on through, so I'm going to let everybody go for this afternoon. I would like to thank you all for your time and energy for this workshop on customizing your categories. I'm Teacher Maria, and I hope to see you again in one of our other workshops. Happy YNABing, everybody.